Number one, high agency move is leave your country or leave your city. So imagine you have learned you are never going to work again, at least not a corporate job. Where would you want to live? Really important question. So let's jump ahead and assume that jobs are not going to exist in 10 years from now, and certainly not high-paying corporate jobs. If you're in one of those jobs right now, you might be feeling very comfortable, but what if that's taken away? Where would you want to live in the world? Ask yourself these 4 questions. Cultural and values alignment, where do I fit in? Temperature and climate, where is the weather best for me? Lifestyle affordances and pace of life, live fast or slow, loud or quiet. Cost of living, can I lower my cost of living? Right now I'm in Cyprus. I picked this off the tree yesterday, like there are oranges on the trees. It is not sunny today, it's actually raining, but it is one of 40 days a year it rains in Cyprus, which is very unusual, and I'm going to be moving here later in the year. This is not an option for everyone. Not everyone can leave and go to another country, but if that is an option for you, it's worth considering, because we're about to enter a time of mass chaos. If you can carve out a life in a place where it's cheaper to live, where it's not all about money, you are able to enjoy nature, you're able to enjoy being outside, you are able to slow down and not worry so much about making money all the time, then it might be time to look into a change. For me, moving from London to Cyprus means that I can move from basically surviving to being able to actually sock away money and do very well. This is not to say that I don't make a lot of money I'm not going to talk about cash and British, but in London, it's so expensive that even if you are in the top couple of percentage of earners, it's quite difficult to carve out a good life for yourself. Not to mention it's dark, it's cold, it's wet, it's a bit grim for most of winter. For me, making this move makes a lot of sense, and I would highly suggest having a think about it. Based on these questions that David Shapiro flags, this doesn't necessarily mean leaving your country. It could be moving to a different city. It could be moving somewhere else in your country as well. But it is worth considering based on the fact that jobs and incomes as we know them may not be the same a few years from now. Second, so David Shapiro says the second thing you need to be doing to get ready for AI and AI job loss is making good investments. Save money, put it away. However much you make, save. Always live below your means. If you make 80K, act like you make 60K and pocket the difference. If you make 200K, act like you make 120K and save the difference. So basically building a buffer. We do not know what's going to be happening with artificial intelligence. We assume it's going to be rough. I think that's a fair assumption. We assume job loss, we assume there's going to be a bit of chaos. So any assets, any cash, any income generating assets that you have are going to be useful. It's going to be a buffer against whatever's happening, because regardless of how chaotic it is, if you have a bit of meat on the bone, you're going to be in a better position to cushion against whatever happens. Classic assets are stocks, bonds, rental properties. I personally prefer ETFs for their accessibility and management. My father-in-law prefers rental properties. The common one is index funds. We're probably going to see a market correction. So if you do get into stocks or an index fund right now or ETFs, again, this is not financial advice, it's probably going to take a beating in the next 10 years. Considering the amount of circular money being put into the American economy in particular is not unlikely. There's a huge amount of speculation, hype around artificial intelligence. Not all of it's going to pay off. We don't know if a company like OpenAI will make the revenues required to justify the investments. I think it will have some kind of correction. It could be a crash, it could be a recession, but there'll be something messy. So if you have your money tied up in stocks, it could be messy. You need to hold on to them for a long time and not panic. The third thing that David Shapiro says is going to get you ready for a world of AI job loss. Think about remaining jobs. What is worthwhile now so you can get ready for what's happening. So he says there's a few categories of jobs that will stick around. Work towards getting one. One, the attention economy, content creator. I'm biased, but I highly agree. Just be warned, this is as much about luck as it is hard work. The attention economy is winners take most, and that is just a fact. Anyone who says otherwise is selling something, 100%. So becoming a content creator is not the same as becoming an influencer. An influencer makes money primarily from the attention that they bring into themselves. For example, if I was an influencer, I'd be doing a lot of sponsored content. When people ask me they want to sponsor a video, The rate would be a couple of $1,000s for shooting a video. They also make money from ad revenue on the platform. So when their videos get showed on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, etc., they get a small cut of the advertising. That's a bit different to becoming a content creator. A content creator uses attention to drive a business.